Alright, while I'm finishing up the geodetic, I've got, let's see, 3 pieces to put on the top. Is it right up here over the pulley, the aileron cable pulley area and compression strut area. And but I wanted to point a couple things out because you probably noticed how thin my geodetic looks, and it is not completely reduced to match the weight of Sitka spruce, but it's reduced a significant portion of it. To be reduced all the way would be 350 thousandths this direction, and there are actually 3 sets. Some of them are just over about 380 and the others are 400 thousandths wide, so a little bit wider, instead of a ½ an inch is what the koala typically has. And that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to point out is, even though this looks like it's taking forever, one thing is I'm just getting back to work and working 10 hours a day at work, and I'm not in the best of health. I'm still fairly weak, and anyways, there's one more key component, and that is if you can find a helper. There's been a lot of managerial research or a lot of business research that shows that having a helper just standing around doing virtually nothing except maybe gluing that end of the geodetic, just waiting for me to slide it through, clamping it while I stay on this side and finish clamping, just that little bit of work can more than double the throughput. And throughput, well, measured in dollars usually, but in this case measured in getting the plane finished. But anyway, so if you have even a grandson, a nephew, or a brother, or somebody that, or your wife, say your wife is willing to do some work with you, it's unbelievable how much quicker this happens. My son was working with me, and I did all of the geodetic complete in one day on one of the wings. That's how much faster it can go. Here's something else I do that isn't really in the drawings or on the prints. Is I get little pieces of geodetic, and I might just stack them up for this one or just a single one right here, and glue it to this here compression strut. Just prevent any vibration or reduce the possibility of vibration, you know, on this longer spans right there. Oh, and the other thing I really haven't mentioned since doing this is how easily this geodetic comes down onto this here side. Now normally, my first wings I made, you couldn't just clamp it with something like this because you had to force it straight like this. They wanted to come straight on the top of this here because the prints tell you to cut this straight and then put a wedge up in here. Well, I cut it at an angle, You still need to put a little shim to keep this tight in here, but what it really saves is this geodetic smoothly coming down and no transition. It's just the same angle right there. Isn't super pretty, but it'll keep it from vibrating. And another thing is, if you notice how they're not all perfectly parallel, and they don't all come to the exact same spot. 2 inches there, 2 inches there. It might be a little bit shy or a little bit long, and I intentionally slop them left or right a little bit because I don't like developing sinusoidal wavelengths. I don't like when I machine something at work and it's very long and not very thick, or say a 1-inch beam or something, AR 500 say, and it's 12 feet long or something, and I'm machining it, it can develop tremendous sinusoidal wavelengths even if I'm clamped like 10 or 12 places along that thing. So what I'll do is I'll clamp weights on it, but you don't clamp them evenly. You don't clamp them at a halfway point, or you might do it at a halfway point, but then you also do it beyond 1/4 of that, or 1/3. You want to go, you don't want to make it an even tuning of that part. You can destroy a tool. It'll get vibrating so bad. So anyways, kind of the same thing, just like buildings. Now to get rid of, for earthquake resistant buildings, they break up real even and symmetrical, geodetics like. Yesterday I ordered my leading edge material, and I will be cutting my spars for the leading edge, the top and bottom. I guess they call them a false spar. And then I also, the leading edge material is also the nose rib material also. It's a whole sheet. I got a whole 4x8 sheet, $53.73 with shipping, and that's not bad, I don't think. They're going to cut it up into 6-inch wide pieces, which helps with the shipping. That's the big expense. So I'll have to look at our costs so far, but that's the only thing I've really purchased since my last cost estimate. And there she is, all the geodetic in the middle anyways, all done.